All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another edition of the Uper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. And if you notice, that is not my pretty pink and purple cup. We have another special guest here for the third time in a row. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Yay, Homeschooling Mama. Before we get too deep into stuff, what are we smoking? What are we drinking? What are you drinking?
Hot tea.
Hot tea.
I'm not.
Twineys?
No, this is one my sister sent. Puka?
Puka.
I can't even remember. This one's chamomile, vanilla, and manuka honey.
Ooh. I'm smoking. Let's get this into focus. Natural EP Carlito. And it's kind of a big, short cigar. It's actually called the Inch. Pretty cool. It's got a bunch of other numbers around it. It's like 14, 13 inch, 11, 10. I don't know. I think that's supposed to be a tape measure, but it's called the Inch cigar. It's probably because it's an inch in diameter. It's a thick cigar, but a shorty, which is nice. Quite tasty, too. For the beer tonight, we have the one and the same ale with raspberry. Kind of cute, little cherubs on there. Green Bush Brewing Company. I don't think I've ever had one of their beers. Oh, it's a Michigan beer. No way. I definitely have not had any there. Oh, I have. I recognize the bottle cap.
It's starting to sound like you've had more than you can keep track of.
Well, man, they get odd ones in, so. And I said the brewing company, not the beer itself. I know I've never had this beer. So what are we talking about tonight, Mama? Homeschooling Mama?
I don't know.
You we're the ones supposed to come up with the issues and ideas.
Well, there's a lot of issues, but I don't think most of those want to be discussed.
Well, that's what this is for. It's got a lot of head on it. I forgot I'd had my smaller glass, so I should have grabbed a smaller beer, but ooh, that's really tasty. So, what do you have going on, Homeschooling Mama?
Well, I'm starting the new semester, and oddly enough, the new trimester for homeschool group.
Now, I don't know if we've ever talked about before your other job besides being a homeschool teacher.
Oh.
I don't think it's ever come up.
Surely we have.
I don't know if you've ever talked about it with me.
I'm
Not
sure
on the
it's been
videos.
mentioned, because, I mean, surely we've mentioned my ESL company I worked for.
We mentioned ESL, but I don't think we mentioned the other one.
I think we did.
Well, there was Trev in there. Damn it.
See, that's what you get for being greedy and trying to get every
Trying to get every last
last drop.
drop. Got a little bit of Trev in there now. Luckily it floats a little bit. Now it's going to be hazy. Oh well, still tastes good. So where else do you work? You don't have to actually name the institution, but what is your other occupation?
I work at a community college as an English instructor, an adjunct English professor.
Yes.
Teach English composition, like first level English composition, and research writing. Basically, you're EN, I think when we went to college it was EN 101 and EN 102.
Mine was
or
110,
EN
112.
110 and 111, or 110 and 112.
I think mine was 110, 112, or 111, 112.
But your basic English composition is college level, not the 90s classes where it's kind of between
Bring
high
me up.
school and college level.
Yeah.
But your introduction to, writing college level papers.
That's right, folks. After getting done teaching kids how to write, she then goes teaches college students how to write.
Suppose that's true.
So, you are about to kick your classes up a notch.
That's the thought, the plan, I guess.
Well, tell us about it. How are you kicking this up a notch? I'm kind of thrilled, actually, by this prospect.
Why?
I feel like I'm being a bad influence.
You feel like you're being a bad influence. Okay. The only reason I'm considering going through YouTube is because it'll do the closed captioning.
Closed captioning. So we start from the beginning. So last semester we had some hiccups.
Okay, for the last few semesters, I would say we've had some hiccups where I have students who, for whatever reason, I would like to say it's society, popular culture, and just general practice right now. They have this hard time with reading the lecture. And it's not that the lectures are long, usually they're only a matter of 1 to 3 paragraphs. And it's not that they're time consuming to read. But they're not reading the lectures, they're not really reading the chapters, they're not really reading all of the assigned readings, the articles and essays. And so they're not doing very well, to be honest. And this isn't the first semester I've experienced this isn't the second semester, this is the last 3 or 4 semesters. I've had 1, 2, all of my students just complain that they can't learn this way. Now, the caveat is they chose to take online education, so they should be adapting.
Which is funny because that was my biggest hang up from taking online, because I learned better from lecture, from hearing it, from being able to have a back and forth with an instructor. So I went to get my bachelor's online. I knew I was screwed, and I was. It was my first few classes were.
Well, I think that's the problem. This is the first few classes for a lot of them. Like, they take this one and one other, you know. And I mean, this is an introductory class, so I think that is the problem, is they're not prepared to do a fully online, autodidactic
you reading course. Stuff.
Reading
now,
stuff.
But see, now, I went into it knowing I'd have to adapt and change. I think a lot of your students are going into it and thinking, you have to adapt and change.
And I don't know. I think a lot of them are going into it without any preconception or understanding of what they're actually doing. And admittedly, I have a lot of students who are what I now consider traditional, but I'm sure that they're considered non-traditional students. They're not right out of high school. They're coming from all walks of life, you know, former military members, people who have worked factory jobs or in daycares or whatever for 5, 10, 20 years, and now they're coming back to school. So they're coming in with less of a grasp, actually, because I find my students that are coming from high school do better. But they're not reading the chapters, they're not doing the work, and then, you know, it's well, there's not enough information, there's not enough instruction. Well, I mean, that's not entirely accurate. There's plenty of instruction, there's plenty of interaction, but a lot of them aren't doing the interaction, you know. I'm sure if anybody's taking college classes online, you probably are familiar with discussion posts, and you have those discussion posts that do well and everybody interacts, you know. And then you have classes where nobody really does much on the discussions. And sadly, they don't seem to take the discussion seriously. And that's, you know, 5-10% of your grade, depending on the course. So they're losing that percentage just simply because they're not even doing the work.
Not even trying.
So, yes, this semester I decided that I was going to try to incorporate some videos in the course. I don't like the idea. Not because I'm scared of being in front of the camera, that really doesn't bother me at all. But I don't like the idea of including videos because, one, it is a lot of extra work for me.
Yeah.
And two, the idea of online classes is that my EN class should be the same as everybody else's at my college. So by adding a ton of videos and by incorporating, you know, more and more of my stuff, it's less and less the same class. And by doing that, then it's not consistent.
And the college I actually worked for this college too in a different program. They were all about keeping everything consistent across the board.
Yes.
But they have actually been supportive, I guess, accepting.
Honestly, it depends on the time of year and who you talk to. Like, there are some people I talk to who are very supportive of me adding videos, and then there's some people who are like, don't change any words if you see if you see a grammar error, let me know, kind of thing.
Comma out of place.
Yeah, don't fix it, just let me know, and I'll fix it in the master copy. Which, okay, so those, you get mixed signals. But then at the same time, I have people who tell me don't change a comma, also saying, it's your class, run it the way you want.
Yeah, you have instructor integrity, or what do they call it, instructor freedom, or?
Yeah, so it's a little confusing and frustrating, to be honest. But I love the college I work for.
Yeah,
It's an awesome,
college is
awesome
very stand-up
environment.
college.
It's just, Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to make videos, which I was encouraged that if I wanted to make videos, I post them on YouTube, because YouTube will generally do the closed captioning for me.
They'll get close to it at least.
Yeah. And so that's kind of my goal is to.
I actually don't put any closed caption on mine.
Really?
Really.
So
it's just a button. It's literally just a button you click. I just never click it. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's highly encouraged because, college setting and accommodations and making sure every student's needs are met.
Well, it's a federal law too. If you record a video for a college, it must be accommodating.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really want to do videos. I don't think that's accurate, but I feel like I'm going to try it this semester and see how it goes. And if it does well, then okay.
So sadly, though, these videos we're going to put as published, but either private or unlisted. So sorry, I can't link you to Homeschooling Mama's videos.
No, not yet. Maybe I'll enjoy it.
Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll start your own little vlog podcast.
Well, right now I am linking a lot of videos. Well, a lot, it might be an exaggeration, but I have been linking some helpful videos for my students. Last semester I allowed them I had a discussion post all about videos, and I had them, please put any helpful videos and links here. Some of those I watched and I thought, oh, that's beneficial. So I'm actually linking some videos in my presentations to explain things like, paraphrasing, comma splices, things that they're learning at that time, so I included a video. But I feel like when there's a video, you watch the video and you don't actually read.
Stuff, yeah.
And that's my biggest concern.
Well, I mean, this way you are catching both learners.
True.
And I mean, I would say I'm just happy that the information is getting relayed. Now, maybe it's not as the course designer intended, of course, because they're not doing, they intended you to read an article or read a blurb. But I mean, in the end, they are actually retaining, gaining and retaining information, and that, to me at least, is more valuable than, well, this isn't how it was meant to be delivered.
Yeah. I definitely see the benefits. It's just, one, when you're using somebody else's video, they might be explaining something or utilizing information that didn't really intend. And you can go through dozens of videos and find, great ones. But yes, there's still always going to be, well, that's not how I want my students to do it. Or, no, that's not exactly what...
It's not perfect information.
Yeah, that's not exactly how I intended for that to be explained. And so unless I make my own videos for every single thing, which I mean, maybe I'll work up to that, but I'm not there right now.
No. No, we're still in trouble just getting you a studio, quote unquote.
Yeah. So, that's kind of my tentative plan is to try to get, I don't think it'll be a weekly thing, but maybe like every other week or every third week have a video. Maybe eventually a weekly video just explaining what they're going to be doing each week. Which is kind of what I wanted it to be, because I've had a couple of students comment that, it'd be nice to have a video that just explained what we were doing this week. But, and it's because I am such a reader and a visual, learner and not, into videos. But I'm like, but it's all written right here. You click the check mark to mark as done. It's right here.
Clear as day.
So it's hard for me to relate to the whole, well, I just want you to talk me through what I have to do throughout the, well, you have to do your discussion posts, you have to do your quiz, you have to do your grammar test, you have to do, But it's all right there, and it's listed as assignments, and you have to click on them to move forward. So for me, I think it'll be interesting. But
Yeah.
it might be a little challenging at first to get into it, but and maybe what I'll do is make more videos for the lectures and less videos for the weekly, like overall generalized video. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, we're trying to set you up with cameras and lights and studio, although I have to admit you are a very resistant pupil when I'm trying to teach you how to do videos.
But you do an entirely different kind of video.
Yeah, but I've done those types of videos. Actually, for that college, nonetheless, I did.
Well, and it's frustrating too because I was all set to do the videos and I started doing them and then like somebody screams in the background. And so this video, which admittedly my own fault, I don't write a script for. I don't I get a general idea of what I'm going to say and then I just roll with it. And so I get a scream in the background and then I have to delete the whole video because it's not going to work. Or one of the kids comes into the bedroom to say goodnight and I have to delete the whole video because...
Well, that's why going to YouTube will be a lot easier because you can do editing before you post it.
Yeah.
Where using the system, and it's not like the system has to be any secret, it's Moodle. It's one shot pony. I mean, you have one take only. If it works, you keep it. If it doesn't work, you re-record it. So...
Yeah.
There's no editing process.
And that's not a huge deal, but when there's a lot of noise or a lot of distractions, and I'm not a perfectionist, but when there's somebody yelling, screaming in the background, or when there's somebody getting in trouble in the background, and
well, that's what I'm saying. We really need to get you, linked into these types of videos, doing YouTube editing software where we can. If you're doing a good take, but then it gets interrupted with a scream or a cry, you can just cancel that out really simply. So
that's my tentative. Like that's what I need to work on or start doing. But we'll see how the semester goes. What's interesting is as much as I don't usually get any complaints from my students, so it's not fair to say that I'm having that kind of problem, because I'm not. But I feel like some of my students would do better.
Well, there was one who was extra complaining.
Special case.
So I will I'll call that one out. She, them, they, it, whatever it was. He was extra complaining. He had a lot going on, but which is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with complaining. I'm not slamming the student for making constructive criticisms. Now, some of the criticisms were less constructive, more just criticism.
Right. Well, and I had already decided to try videos before that.
Yeah.
It's just I hadn't gotten around to it for that semester because, well, I was dealing with a lot of drama with a couple of students who had personal things going on and couldn't keep up with the work of the class. And when a student can't keep up with the work of the class and you have to grant extensions, then you have to literally go back to every week and allow them to complete stuff and then regrade it. And then, so it's a tedious process when you have a student that's struggling or has late work. It's not just you're late, that's totally fine.
Yeah. It's
actually a process for an instructor to go back. And as a student, I don't think I realized just how much work it was. Now,
one it's that hidden work.
Yeah, it's a lot of hidden work. And it's hard because once you get moving, like in the classes I teach, it's all progressive education. So if you get 2 weeks behind, you are not actually just 2 weeks behind, you're 3 and 4 weeks behind because you're working ahead with it, but you don't have the information you need. So you're actually completely at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But I mean, things happen, life happens, and you do get behind sometimes, so.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a whole lot anybody can do for that, except try to accommodate,
Try to accommodate, that's the name of the game.
so.
But, okay. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll get Homeschooling Mama doing her own blogs and vlogs.
It is going to be hard after doing my ESL, where I'm dealing with 3-year-olds and 3 to 12-year-olds. It's going to be hard to That's an entirely different
Tone and
for
verbiage
college students and verbiage.
I don't know though. Some of those college kids could probably use the 3-year-old.
Hi, how are you? I'm so happy to see you today.
Oh my gosh. Hello.
I love your hair.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's gonna take a while to because my camera personality.
Maybe we should just switch these videos. Just have you come out here and we'll talk about grammar.
Yeah.
We'll just do a little discussion about grammar. Call them fireside chats. No, that one's been taken.
No, that's been done.
That's been done. We'll call them freezing with grammar.
I have to be careful. I found myself I was at therapy with a little man, and he has a compound sentence with a bunch of T's and L's and SH's that he's trying to repeat. And I can't remember what the sentence was, but it's a compound sentence, so I had a compound subject. And so instead of saying the sentence as it was, he rewrote it so that it was not a compound sentence, so that it was 2 simple sentences. So it was something like, Vivian washed her clothes. And it was supposed to be Vivian and Daniel washed their clothes. So he rewrote it and wrote 2 sentences out of it and got rid of the compound subject. And I was like, oh, I was gonna break into explaining why, you broke down the compound subject and made 2 sentences. I'm like, nope, he's in therapy for an entirely different reason.
Listen at home, damn it.
So, but anyway, yeah, so grammar is definitely one of my pet peeves.
It is. Yep. And when we send love letters to you, they always come back corrected.
Oh, that's not true.
No, but I had to propose in a very English fashion, so shall we say.
Yeah, okay.
But good enough. Well, anything else you want to talk about? Maybe, again, just do some grammar talks here. We take a subject instead and have a cigar, have a beer. Your students will relate, but some of your students will very much relate with that.
I don't think the college would appreciate a
I
cigar
don't
and
think
beer.
they could say much.
I don't think they would appreciate it. No, I'm pretty sure that would not be acceptable.
Possibly.
Now, if you want to give up your cigar and your beer, I would happily sit down and have a...
Well, we'll work on
grammar
that so we
chat
can
with
break your VIP kid voice, your
Oh my god.
your ESL voice.
I noticed even when I was doing a quick 2-minute verbal recording that I had the voice, and I was like, oh, I used it anyway because I had recorded it 15 times and was screaming and doors closing and the dog coming in and all sorts of noises. I'm like, no, this is the only one that doesn't have the dog noise, but it definitely has my 3 to 5, 3 to 10-year-old engagement voice. Whatever, it's fine.
It'll work. Print. Well, good enough, folks. We'll keep an eye out. Maybe we'll do some grammar videos here and talk about that stuff to kind of get the cogs a-turning and help Homeschooling Mama with her college courses. I know it's going to be a struggle on my end to get her into the dark side of the intranets and YouTube and video editing and all that, but we're up for the challenge.
Oh, it's the video editing. I think I don't even care.
Yeah, you just send it right over to me. That's fine. But, all right, folks, I hope everyone's staying safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Shaky cam. We'll see you on the next one.